Hey everybody, so this is a super quick video to help you out with how to import components into a component library. If you're having problems or getting error messages in the make.powerapps.com Maker Studio, then this video will help you get around that and to be able to import components. Now there's a couple of reasons that you might want to import components into a component library. Microsoft have disabled the import feature because they have desired to disable it on the Canvas apps because component libraries will be the way going forward. However, one of the repercussions of disabling the import of components on Canvas apps is that it has blocked us from being able to import components into our libraries as well. Now, I think importing components into our libraries is still useful because you might have a bunch of apps or a bunch of component libraries that are set up, and you would like to consolidate or create a consolidated component library, but you don't want to have to recreate all of those components. It would be better if you could just import components from those libraries into a central one. So for example, if you want a developer to develop a new component in a component library while you're working on another component for another app, and you can't both work in the same component library, what you would do is you would get the developer to go into their own component library, build their component, and then when they're finished, you could import it into the central library where you could test it, polish it up, and use it for a bunch of apps. Now, you won't be able to do that if you try use the download and export component and then import, because that's not going to work. You will get an error message as I found. So I found a way to work around that so that you can still enable multiple developers to build components and still have them in a central component library or subset of libraries that you can manage and maintain in different environments for different reasons. Let me show you. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to open your component library where you're trying to import the component into. In my demo, I'm creating a new library because I don't have one, to use as an example to show you where I'm going to try and import a component into here. So again, an example might be that there's a component sitting elsewhere and you don't want to have to manually recreate it. You'd rather just import it, and then this is the library where it's going to be used from. So to demonstrate, what's going to happen is you would normally try and import the component using the import component button as I'm showing on the screen now. That is also available on the insert screen, but only when you click on the screens area, then it will show up, because you can see it's not showing now. There's no import custom components. If I click on screens, there's the custom area where I can import components. So it's going to only give us the option to import a component from available list of Canvas apps. So you're good if your component lives in an app, that's fine. You're not good if your component lives in another component library somewhere else. That component library is not going to show up in this list. So you can see I've got two component libraries here, one for tablet and one for mobile. But when I go to my new component library, which I created, and I try and get components from there, that's not available as an option. Now, something else you would normally try is you would try and use the upload file. As you can see the button there. I'm going to demonstrate to you now the error message that you normally get. Now, here is the library from where I want to get a component. For whatever reason, I need to put it in a different component library. So we've got a really nice set of mobile components here. And there's even a little demo page where I can investigate the components and see how they work and see what I want to use. I'm pretending that we're doing a component uplift, and this is a test suite, and we need to merge our libraries into one, and we need to get these components out of here and into a different library. And I know that that's not going to break any apps because it's in my dev environment, and I know that's not going to break my apps. There's a little contact one where I can search for contacts, and this is the one that I want to get out of here. Okay, so what you would probably give a try is you would use the export feature where you'd export components and you'd give this a go. Now, this isn't going to work because I've noticed that there is a new error message that you will get if you try to do it this way, which tells you that no, PowerApps doesn't like that anymore. The new way to use components is through component libraries, but that's exactly where we're importing the library to, and the Maker Studio doesn't know that. So you'll see I'm back in my library. I'm going to try and upload that file that I got out of the other component library to try and get those components in here. It will allow me to start the upload process, but during that, it's going to fail it and say, no, PowerApps doesn't like uploading of components anymore. So the workaround is as follows. Normally in an app, you would use the Get More Components button, which is available down the bottom where I'm showing my mouse, okay? And that's what it's telling us to use. That's what the upload error message said, to use the Get More Components button, which is normally located in this position in Canvas apps. In component libraries, that button isn't there, so that's not going to work either. Hence why I'm showing you guys the workaround for this. This is the only way I've figured out how to do it. So what you do is you go to apps, and we're going to create a new dummy app that's not used for any other purpose than this. So I'm calling my app a component dump, and it's just a dummy app. We're going to delete it, and it's just temporary. So I'm prefixing it with a Z, calling it temporary so that it moves to the bottom of the list, and it's clear that this is just a test app. Once you've created it, what you want to do is you want to make sure that the component that you want is in a library that is fully published. So I'm just going to publish this library so that I can make sure I get the latest version of that component and I don't get an older version. And once that's published and ready to go, we'll jump back to our new dummy Canvas app that we're creating. And we'll go add that in. So and there we go. We're in the Canvas app now. So I'm just going to click on the screen. I'm going to click on the plus sign and look for get more components. Now I can see the button that's going to allow me to get components from other libraries. This is what we want. So we're going to get the contact components, and that's going to import. Now, at the moment, that's going to initially import it with a live connection to the library, and we want to break that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to a screen anywhere inside of the dummy test app, and we're going to add that component onto a screen. So using the plus sign, just go to library components and click on your component and add it to a screen. Then what you want to do is break its connection from the existing library. And the way to do that is to edit the component. So if you click on it and you click edit component, it's going to create a duplicate copy of that component into this app itself and break the connection of this component from the original library. What you want to do is, once that's done, you want to click on save and publish. If you can't edit the component, you need to update the allow customization setting on the component in the library. So go back to the library, update that setting, publish, and come back. Once that's done and the application is published, you want to go back to make.powerapps.com, and it takes a little while for new apps to show up in this area. So you just want to refresh this list and proceed to the next steps once the app is visible and showing. Going back to the library where we want the component, if you refresh the list, you'll now see that our new dummy app is there, and I'm able to get component from my new app because I created a copy of it, and now another copy has been created in this library. The component is now in my library where I originally wanted it, and I can proceed. Thanks so much for watching this video. If it helped you, stay tuned for other videos and check out what's on my channel. Nice to meet you, and if it's Friday, like it is for me, have a lovely weekend. If it's not, enjoy your week. Thank you so much.